So,
There you are.
but here I am.
How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, dear. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, doing really good. I was just saying that I just got through videoing my newest Facing Food Fears episode. Very
Oh, that'll
interesting.
be
So,
exciting. Did you
yeah.
spit it on the plate or into a napkin this time?
I'm not gonna say. You have to watch.
Okay, I want to share this before I forget it because to me, this is one of the funniest things that I've seen on Twitter all year.
Oh, goodness.
WebMD posted a thing say, check the label before you buy. Vanilla flavoring, also called imitation vanilla, is not the same as vanilla extract. It's made with synthetic vanillin, which food companies sometimes make from a secretion from the
Uh-uh.
anal glands of
Uh-huh. Yeah.
beavers.
Yes,
And
yes.
what does our hero, Dr. Ken Berry, have to say about this, you might
Oh,
wonder? Imitation vanilla flavoring is made from beaver buttholes. Why does this make me happy?
oh no. Because you're not right.
No, Kim Berry said that. Not me. Kim Berry said that.
You're enjoying it a little too much.
I just had to share that. I thought that's just too priceless not
I
to
love
share with
Ken. He's the
everybody.
best.
He's a good dude. He's a
He
very
is.
good dude.
I really like him.
We're lucky to
Yes,
have him. We really
for
are.
sure. And he's
So,
every bit as cool in person. He really is.
he'd have to be. You couldn't be that energetic and that excited and that unrelenting just part of the time.
True
You'd rip yourself
story.
in half.
Yes,
You
yes.
really would. Hello, Jason. It's good to see you in here. Appreciate everybody coming in this evening. If you
And
have
hey,
any
Caitlin.
questions, don't hesitate to ask. Good evening, Caitlin. It's Grass-Fed Gal. And you had a big meetup this weekend, didn't
I
you? Why
did.
don't you
It was
tell
so
us about that?
fun. Yeah, we had about 22 people meet up at Longhorn Steakhouse in my area, and it was really cool. There were just a bunch of different people. There were some that were there were some that were just keto. There was some that was, very strict keto. Then there was the carnivores. And then, of course, we even had that special someone who brought their own raw food to eat. And that was really funny. Yes, our Ant Man from Twitter.
Andrew? Was it Andrew
Yes,
Graff?
he did. Yes, he was
Oh, that's so
hysterical. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I got a video of it because I just thought it was just too funny. Yeah. But yeah, we had
I
a
didn't know
range and it
Andrew
was so
came.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ant-Man.
Andrew
Yeah.
rocks. Andrew's the
And
guy who, when he was on the Carnivore Cast, talked about and explained very clearly why people who suffer from arthritis should not drink caffeine.
hmm.
And he did it so well that after my wife heard it, she immediately went to decaf,
Oh, wow.
like the next morning.
Yeah.
He was that convincing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to
Oh,
interject. I
no.
didn't. I didn't know
No,
Andrew was. That's really cool.
it was really good. The way they had it set up, and that was my choice because I had three options, and that seemed like the best one. They had like tables set up at the back of the restaurant, and there was, I think we had like five tables, which because it was in the back of the room, we were able to get up and mingle, and that was kind of cool. But still, the restaurant was pretty busy even at a 2 o'clock on a Sunday, so it made it real hard to have people like tell their stories and stuff like that. So that was, the only down part about it. So you could only share your stories within the table, or if you got up and you mingled, which of course I'm a chatty Cathy, so I was going and trying to chat to everybody and blah, 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 blah. So I never shut up. So, but it was cool. I mean, meeting all these different people who had so many things in common with you, and yet they were doing maybe things a little bit different than you, and you could learn a little, but yet you're still inclusive, or whatever you want to say. So that was really cool that you could have a difference but yet still bond on a common theme. And I thought that was just a really, really cool experience. And I was so pleased. I mean, being the first one to have, and there'd be 22 people. I mean, to me, that was a great success. And that tells you just how big this, carnivore and keto is growing. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I know you've had some meetups, right? What were yours like?
We've been to one official meetup, and then we've had the pleasure of having and feasting with a ketogenic couple who's just doing keto diet.
Oh, no.
And
Okay.
they've been spectacular experiences. In February was when we had the meetup with the carnivores. It was the first and only meetup with just carnivores. Only it really wasn't just carnivores. The son and later daughter of the lady who organized the event showed up, and at that time they were both keto. I think the son now is full carnivore. I'm not completely sure on it, but I think he is. But so naturally, and then they had a friend with them who ate some kind of carby something. So that was what all my friends and family focused. I see carbs on the table. Those are carbs. That's not really a meetup. Y'all really lying to us. No, please.
Wow.
But it was a really wonderful experience because we were strangers to everybody.
Yeah.
But everybody was so nice. And as you've heard me say before, I genuinely believe that's because they're not inflamed.
Yeah, right. I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, after your experience, do you feel any differently about that notion?
No, not at all. I mean, I think they're some of the nicest people ever. And the excitement, that's what I really, really loved. There was a guy who came up to me, he's one of our Twitter friends, and he was like, I am so happy to be here. And I really want to share my story. I just can't even tell you how different my life is and, what has changed. And I think he said he was 72. And I was like, get out of here, because I would have never said he was that age. I mean, and he was just so excited, and he just wanted so bad to share. And I thought that was just the coolest thing.
That's awesome. That is genuinely very, very powerful.
And I think I'm going to have him on Instagram Live and like kind of as an interview, because he so bad wants to get that story out there. And, we're so into people telling their story that I think I think that would be great, because he was so excited. I thought that was the neatest thing.
That's great. I don't know what's happening with your mic, but it just made a funny noise.
Oh, did it? Are you okay now?
Yeah, it's your hair. I think your hair or something's playing with it. I don't know.
All right, how about I do this? Okay, there we go. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah. I'm growing a thing out of my head.
If it was the 80s, I'd say your hairspray got into your microphone, but it's not the 80s. Thank you.
Hey, don't be dissing on 80s hair now. That's kind of like Texas normal hair.
I had hair in the 80s, okay? I remember.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. No. I want to see pictures.
There are pictures. I will disabuse you of your notion.
Yes, Jason, you're nice.
Appreciate you, Jason, so very much. Let's move along to some other issues. I got a question by a lady who asked some really great questions last week and she was asking it kind of both of us, although she was asking me specifically. But I'm going to read what she said. Okay. I have to ask this, so please don't shoot me. Why beef and bacon? You and Lone Star Keto Girl both eat beef and bacon a lot. Is it because that's what you like the best? Is it because a longtime carnivore said that's the two best meats to eat? Is it because those two meats make you feel the best? Was there trial and error? I'm asking out of curiosity because I might try the same if there's some great magical sorcery about it.
There is. There really is.
So I read that and I thought, I can't let that go to the wayside.
Well, so many people ask that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I mean, I tease Brett because that's what he always ate, and I always kind of made fun of him. But for some real weird reason, and I don't do things just because other people do it. I'm no, I will do the opposite just because. And that is what I settled on, and I don't really know why. I've never really been a bacon person my whole entire life. I'm 53, and for 52 years of my life plus, I didn't really care about bacon. I didn't even want it. I never bought it unless I was going to make something specific that needed bacon, and I was doing that more for like my husband, not for me. And I never asked for bacon bits, anything like that. So that's kind of a really bizarre thing for me, but I started wanting bacon and I don't even know why. And so I bought it and I started eating it and I was like, good gosh, this is like, what I used to think chocolate cake was, ice cream, whatever. That's how yummy it was to me. So bacon became kind of a center thing. And then the ground beef, to be honest, I never really cared about that either. So I wasn't a hamburger person. I mean, I could eat them, but it wasn't my thing. I didn't go, oh my gosh, let's go get a burger. And so now for me to like those two things, it's very bizarre. I didn't do it because Brett did it. I didn't even do it because I read somewhere that it's the best thing to eat. It's honestly just what I ended up settling on, and that's easy. I like it. It's convenient. It's inexpensive. Well, except for the bacon I buy is kind of pricey, but I guess meh, whatever. But it's just convenient and easy to cook. Okay, there we go. And I don't know. I like it. I don't know. It's just my body what it wants. I don't know. Okay, Brett,
Okay.
you?
I was taught by the folks at Zeroing In on Health to eat the meat I crave and can afford. And also, in the couple of weeks before I started carnivore, I researched there at Zeroing In on Health extensively, looking for why people seem to have problems. And the biggest complaint for new people at that time was, I'm bored just eating the same thing all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And the other was I just eating meat all the time. And I could intellectually understand that. That made a little bit of sense to me. So
Yeah.
I thought, how can I go about making sure I'm never, ever tired or bored of just eating meat and drinking water? So it came to me, there's never been a meal in my life that I had bacon that I didn't enjoy it. So to me, it just made sense. Okay, instead of just having one meat always and just eating one thing, I'll always have two, and one of those two will always be bacon. So I actually started out eating steak and eggs and bacon, or ground beef and bacon and eggs, things like that. I ate a lot of eggs in the beginning, but after the first 2 weeks, the eggs stopped being satisfying. So then it was eggs and a little fish and some pork and bacon. Always bacon. Yes, even bacon with fish.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's good.
I know bacon rocks.
And then about 4.5, almost 5 months ago, we go into a Sam's Club, and I see these tubes of 90/10 ground beef. And they just look to me out of the blue like the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I'd never seen those before. And I told my wife, I said, we got to try it. I want to try it. It just looks fantastic to me. And Amber, as God is my witness, it has been the most satisfying meat I have ever eaten.
I
Every
believe
bite
you.
of every meal is just so delicious and satisfying. It's what I crave and what I can afford, and I'm not tired of it yet. And I
Yeah.
won't change until my body says, hey, you need to make an adjustment, or I just don't want to eat it anymore.
And then you're going to start eating liver, right?
I'll eat whatever I crave and can afford. Ideally, if I could afford it, I would eat filet. I would eat filet mignon and bacon,
Me too. Me too.
but I can't afford it. So
Yeah.
anyway, I appreciate that, Carnivorous Lioness. That's such a great name, and thanks for
I
coming
love
out
that.
too. One issue that we've been running into, we've been seeing people talk about a lot, and it's causing it. We all run into it in our lives because life can get stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And how we handled stress before we started eating this way was a whole lot different than how we handle stress eating this way now, isn't it?
It sure can be, yeah.
Well, why don't you talk about your experience with that, my friend?
Yeah, well, right now I'm under like a lot of stress with my mom having breast cancer, and tomorrow is her first surgery, and so that's kind of put a lot of added stuff on me. Plus, it's my mom, right? And then a lot of I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now, so I'm just kind of a little bit. And before, I mean. I would just literally probably break down. And my husband can attest to some of those breakdowns, but and stress still does get to me. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it doesn't affect me in the same way. I mean, I am having a little bit of trouble sleeping and a few things like that, but I mean, that's kind of be expected. But I'm not like going off the deep end. I'm not like mumbling utter rubbish because I can't form a sentence and things like that, like I used to, specifically when I wasn't getting sleep too. I made no sense. I couldn't even construct a sentence. And that I haven't really run into that so much. Now, if I continue not to get my sleep, I may not be making sense here real soon. But, so far, I mean, compare what I used to be like. It is better, definitely. And hopefully it'll get even better. Stress is not a good thing. I mean, it can affect your weight loss. It can affect your health. It puts you in that fight or flight kind of response where you're dropping, adrenaline and cortisol, and that's just not a good thing for it to be chronic when it happens all the time. It's a good thing if it's done for a short period of time of stress. But when it's chronic and it continues to happen and happen, it just messes your body all kinds of up, and it will affect your sleep and affect everything. And then your health starts going to crap, and then you could put on weight. Some people lose weight, but for me, I think I kind of put on weight with all that happening. So it's just not a good thing. But when you're more like what you're getting at, when your body is more nourished and it's able to heal, it can handle that chronic stress a little better. Not that it's good or that you should remain in that kind of state, no, but I think your body is a little bit more able to handle it. Anyway, your
Yeah,
turn.
stress is always going to suck. There's never going to be a
Yes.
time when stress is like, oh, this is stress. It's not a problem, because that just the word by its own very definition, it's not a pleasant experience. It's
No.
never going to be. I find that when life throws these things at me, health scares with my parents and things like that, what I've had to deal with my
Yes.
father and whatnot, type 2 diabetes and early onset of dementia. It is stressful, but
Very.
I found that it was also very manageable. It was
Yeah.
easy to manage. It was easy to compartmentalize things. Okay, I can't fix this, so this goes over here, and we'll focus on these things I can do rather than waste energy. Whereas before, like you described, or similar to what you described, only much louder and angrier, I would just rant and rave and pound my fists in frustration, just in an incomprehensible manner, and never able to articulate in a clear way what it was that I was so upset about. And
Yeah.
even just basic, just simple disagreements between friends, which are no big deal. Those are going to come up from time to time. It's just human life. But when I was sick, oh my gosh, those
Yeah.
things could be, I would be willing to burn a bridge that had been there for 50 years. That's how out of kilter I was those kinds. But now, oh, please.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out a way to shock you. So yeah.
Well, I was thinking of you tonight, and I just thought, nothing says I love the world like bacon. So I'm
I
just sharing my love,
agree.
love with the world a little bit tonight and crunching in your ear. But stress can affect your healing. It can stop a weight
Yes.
loss. It can cause your weight loss to stall. It can impede your healing. So that's
Absolutely.
another reason why you really want to focus on just giving your body nothing but nutrition,
Exactly.
because life is going to throw nasty things at us all the time.
Yes.
We just,
Unavoidable.
the pitfalls of life will show up, but you don't have to step in the deepest part of the pit.
Exactly.
Um, Now, we'll remind everyone, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's nice to see you in here, my dear. I haven't seen you in quite a while. She's such a nice lady. She was one of the first people that ever reached out to me after I was on the Ketovore Kast the first time.
Oh.
And she's had quite the journey in her own right. It's her story to tell, but it's really good to see her. Let's talk about the fact this gets so left out. There's so many keto people here who think, oh, what's all this carnivore talk? What's going on? She's the Lone Star Keto girl, and all she talks about is eating meat, and she posts these pictures of bacon and stuff. What the hell's going on here? It's so important for everyone to remember. Keto stands for ketogenic diet.
Yes.
The purpose is to burn fat instead of sugar for energy, so that your body will be in a state of ketosis.
Exactly.
Carnivory is just another means to achieve that goal. Instead of going low or high fat, low carb, you're going high fat, no carb. It's a ketogenic
Exactly.
diet. I am in ketosis every day. Somebody's like, well, will you check it with meters to make sure, you got your little pee sticks? It's human biology. If you're not consuming carbs and you're not consuming sugar, and all you're consuming is animal fats, what else is your body going to do with that but burn fat and create ketones to use as energy?
But what about the whole, if you eat too much protein and gluconeogenesis,
So you
how
almost
people
couldn't
always
say
talk
it.
about that. I had to think it, I had to, read it in my mind there.
That's all right. It took me weeks I just sat in front of a mirror and practiced it for like 3 weeks so I could do it without my jaw coming unhinged. Gluconeogenesis.
For sure.
Gluconeogenesis is a real thing, and it's demand driven.
Exactly.
So
So if your body doesn't need it, then
that's exactly right. Jason's on the ball. It's right, my friend. You're exactly right. And if you're not following her on Twitter or Instagram, her name's on Instagram. It's Tuitrition, something like that. It's Amy Berger's who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
If you could go look up her blog, which I don't have at the tip of my tongue either. She's got the simplest, greatest explanation about gluconeogenesis that I've ever read. I'm a guitar player. I'm not a medical professional. We don't give out medical advice here, but I can understand it. It's that well written.
Yeah, I also heard at KetoCon, the ketogenic girl, Vanessa, she did a wonderful job of presenting that at KetoCon. She kind of got into that, and any concerns that I had about that specific thing of maybe having too much protein in the whole, getting kicked out of ketosis because you have too much protein, all that kind of stuff, or it's not good for your kidneys, whatever. Not that I was really worried about it, but still you have the question in your mind. And she put it all to rest. I mean, it was a fabulous presentation. And I'm pretty sure that all of the presentations from KetoCon are up somewhere or another. So you might want to look that up. That's like, she did a wonderful job of that. And I felt so confident and good when I walked out of there. I was like, any worry that I might have had is gone. So, yeah, those are two good sources if you're concerned.
I've never been concerned about any of that. I was so blessed. And if anybody ever gets tired of hearing me talk about zeroing in on health, well, you're going to get really tired because I'm never going to stop. That's my go-to resource. If I have run into an issue, which I haven't yet, But if I ever run into an issue that I don't understand with the way I'm eating and what, I start having a bad experience, I'm going to go there because there are people who've been living this way for 10 years and more who've got the experience. They've got this
Right.
accumulated knowledge that I haven't found anywhere else. So I just follow their directions. I keep my ego out of it. I'm not interested in anything else but the results.
Mm.
And the results kind of speak for themselves.
Well, that's just it. I mean, how can you argue with results? That's the thing.
I know.
It's like,
It's really remarkable. And with the results, though, one of these things that we need to always mention when we get a chance is this wonderful health that we've got. So many people. I did this years ago, years and years ago, like 2009 to 2010. I went on the Atkins diet, lost a bunch of weight, started feeling better. But after a while, I'm like, I could go back to eating ice cream again. And if I gain my weight back, I'll just go back on
go back to,
Atkins.
yeah.
And since we didn't have a clue at the time that one of the reasons my mood was better was because I wasn't eating as much garbage as before, and no doctor said, hey, Brad, if you go low carb, you might not be as crazy. We had no idea that I could lose it all like that.
Yeah, that's right. And take a
So
while to get it back.
don't take it for granted, my friends.
Yeah.
What you have now, you can lose if you reintroduce the toxins. And by all accounts, now I don't know this from personal experience because I'm not interested in trying to find out what I could add back safely. I risk my sanity if I do that, and I'm not going to do that. So just be advised, because once those tolerances that we've built up over 40, 50 years, once they're
Yeah,
gone,
exactly.
and you reintroduce that stuff, you get the full toxicity, all the consequences like a bulldozer at 1,000 miles an hour. I'm not interested.
True story. Yeah. I see a lot of people who do that. And like some people, they're kind of experimenting to see what happens, like say specifically with they're working out, lifting or whatever, that they think they need some carbs to, get that going again. And then I'll see that and I'm like, oh no, 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 don't do that. Oh no, no. It just makes me a little cringe-worthy there.
Oh, it frightens me. I worry. I genuinely worry about people because, back at the very beginning when I first started learning about any of this stuff, you see Jordan Peterson talking on Joe Rogan about how he tried to add something back into his diet and all of his depression came back and he was horribly, horribly depressed with this awful doom sensation is how he described it, for a month.
That's not worth it.
For a month.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Just not worth it to me.
Yeah. And for me,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, for me, it's a little bit of a different story. My fear, honestly, is gaining weight back. It's like how scary because, how quick that can happen if you just, oh, well, I'm just going to do this, or I'm just going to add this back in, a little bit of this back in. And the next thing you know, you're, going down that slippery slope, and then you get upset and you're like, oh, well, just a heck with it, and then just keep going down that road, So that's kind of a fear for me. It's not so much issues like what you would, have, but I have my own fears. They're a little bit different. I mean, of course, I don't want my health to go to hell either, but, and I have, made a lot of improvements in my health. So that is definitely, something that could happen, surely. I was pre-diabetic, so that's something I don't ever, ever, ever want to be as diabetic. I watch my family go through that, and that is just no. I come from a, really yucky genetics there, so I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, and L asks, so human testimony means nothing. Yeah, for a lot of people, I've had people who are just so upset with me because I eat meat and drink water. They come up with these mythological well, you're destroying your insides. But I walk 20 miles a week. My blood pressure is like 90/60. My heart rate's at 50 to 60 beats a minute. Look at me. I feel incredible. Here are videos of my workouts. Do I look like I'm destroying myself to you? And you are. You are. No, what really it is you don't want me to live this way for whatever ideological reason you may have. And you're upset about it. I'm not going to change. It's just
Well,
not
it's
going to
not
happen.
an attack on you. It's attack on them, how they feel about what they're doing.
I
You
agree.
know, it's like they have to be kind of accountable because you're doing this, so it kind of sheds light on what they're doing as not being good because you're doing the opposite. And so it really says more about them than it does you. And that's
And
something
you,
I've had to kind of learn.
yeah, it says a lot more about them. And, I don't go looking for vegans to interject myself into their lives. But boy, they sure like to come and interject themselves into ours, it seems. I don't
Ooh,
understand
I'm
it.
just glad I don't get as attacked as much as you do, though. Goodness.
Your day is coming.
Yay! Can't wait.
Back to the notion of adding things back into your diet. How, with what we know about oxalates and phytates and
Yeah,
lectins, the chemical warfare that plants commit upon our bodies each and every time we eat them,
yeah.
why go back to it?
I have no desire because I now have reaped the rewards of getting rid of them, specifically with my digestion. You know, I'm no longer bloating or have, constipation or, any kind of those horrible things, acid reflux, whatever. I have zero of that, zero.
Wait a minute,
And
wait a minute, wait a
so
minute.
I'm just,
My friend, I need to stop for a second. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You gave up dietary fiber and you're not constipated? Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
isn't that funny?
that's
I
just not
know.
possible. Oh dear.
I know that
I'm
fiber.
triggered. I'm so triggered.
I've been doing it almost 5 months without fiber, so I'm expecting to, fall over dead any time now from all the stuff that's all rotting in my gut and all impacted in there, and no fiber to help push it out and all that stuff. I'm just kind of waiting for that. So, if you don't hear from me, that's probably what happened. I, was literally full of.
You're gonna have you've got the HD TV set up in the restroom. You got your phone
Yeah, just so,
line.
yeah.
You got your little fridge in there just in case,
Well,
emergencies
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I mean that
I,
fiber.
372 days today since I've had any dietary fiber.
Well, you're really about to drop then. I
I
don't know
mean,
how you're
you
you're
know,
functioning.
well, I guess it'll be day 373 that the scurvy gets me, right?
Yes, yes. I'm still waiting on that too. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Here's an issue and I want you people in the chat because I know we've got some long-term carnivores hanging out in here. We've got some folks who've been at it for a few months, and we'd like to get your opinion on this notion too. It is becoming very difficult to go out in public and see people that are suffering.
Yeah.
They got that shuffle, their eye got those sunken in, exhausted, brain fogged eyes. They're obese.
Obese, yeah.
They're just, their cart is full of
Yes,
sugar.
the grocery carts. Grocery
It's
shopping is like, oh,
full of bread and
yeah.
pasta and processed garbage, carbohydrated, healthy filth. It's what I call it.
Yes, yes.
And you just want to run up and give them a card that says meat heals. There is hope. Just anything.
You know what's funny though
Soda.
to me
Mm-hmm.
is we look at the grocery carts of the people who are eating that crap, right? Well, we get the same looks by our grocery cart because, like, what was it yesterday? I had like 6 bags of bones. How weird is that, right? And then I had ground elk, and some other stuff like that. And as it's going through the conveyor belt, you can see the cashier just kind of like looking, bones, okay, must be for the dogs.
All I have to say to that is they can look at me, and then they can look at their physical state and decide for themselves who's making the better
Exactly.
choices. Because I welcome those kind
So
of
yeah.
looks. I
Yeah.
got excited last week. We were at Sam's Club, and I think I had my Eat Meat Drink Water shirt on, and this lady eyeballed me for about 30 yards. She's reading that shirt hard, and you could see the wheels are turning in her head, and she's dying to ask a question. And I gave her the chance. I said good afternoon as I walked by, but she didn't take the bait. I would have welcomed a conversation or a dialogue for a chance to explain.
Yeah.
I don't push this. I don't go out in public
Yeah.
thinking,
No.
"Oh boy, there's a fat person. Let's go convert them." No, I don't.
Here, you need this. Here's my card. Yeah, that would so not be cool.
No, 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 no. But if the
Yeah.
opportunity arises, I will share
Yes.
my before and after picture and explain whatever shirt I'm wearing is about.
What's really cool too that I personally find really cool is that my husband is so on board. Like when we do have these situations arise where somebody is questioning us, he just kind of pipes up in there with all this knowledge and talking, and I'm looking at him like, wow, you go. Because he's doing, the keto diet, half carnivore, half keto, whatever you want to call it. But, he's not like involved like I am trying to get the word out. If somebody asks him or, it comes up, he will, of course. But I just find that just so cute. I love that. It's like it's spreading.
Jason's saying in chat that he's about to go on a camping weekend with his in-laws, and he's bringing lots of meat, eggs, and cheese, and he wants to see how much he can shock them with all the meat. Well, if nothing else,
Camping.
make them curious.
Yeah, for sure.
Make them curious.
Well, camping's a great place because meat is like the thing you do. Everything else is so hard to make. You can't it's not as easy to boil pasta and make spaghetti. So, meat is, barbecue
I can't
and
even
stuff like
believe you
that.
said those words in a sentence.
I know.
Shame on you.
Oh, now I know how to get you spaghetti.
See, the reason I have a special hatred for spaghetti and a funny story to tell about it, because I had to eat it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I grew up, if it was served, you ate it whether you wanted to or not. And my parents made a special point of telling me that when you grow up and you're out on your own, you can eat whatever you want to. So I swore to be damned right then, under my breath.
Never eat that crap again.
When I'm out on my own, I didn't even want to look at it. When Danielle and I first met, she was a prodigious pasta person. 4 or 5 days a week, there was pasta. She would make it. I couldn't even stand to sit in the same room with it. It smelled so bad to me. And don't you think I didn't bring that up after we found out what pasta does to the human body?
Yeah.
I was right all along.
I knew I hated it for a reason.
Okay, Texas Ginger saying her hubby's mostly on board. He supports me. And he likes me. He likes what it does and what it does for his waistline and his energy level.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah, that's having your spouse on board is everything. Even if they're not doing it with you, they're understanding and they're supportive. That makes all the difference in the world, because a lot of people's spouses aren't that kind.
Oh, no. And matter of fact, they say really negative things. Some people's spouse even tries to sabotage them.
It's because of their addiction. Their addiction is threatened.
Or they just don't want their spouse to, be better, I don't know. It just baffles me because my husband has never been like that. But these people would cook something that they know that their spouse loves and is having a hard time breaking from and eat it in front of them. I'm like, why? That is so mean.
I know a lady who kicked her multiple sclerosis, primary progressive multiple sclerosis, the kind that's never supposed to go into remission. Well, all her symptoms went away. All of them. She fired her
Wow.
neurologist.
Wow.
Her husband would bring garbage in, cakes and things like this, because he's a sugar addict, and he wanted to get her to come off and eat some crap with him because he didn't want to eat his garbage alone. And I'm just thinking, she just got better from multiple sclerosis. Your wife
That's
just
huge.
got better from multiple sclerosis, and you're tempting her with the stuff that could bring it all back. I mean,
No.
what kind of addict? Oh, that's an addict's behavior.
Yeah.
What do we know from alcoholics and drug addicts? They will destroy their family
Oh, yeah.
above all else to
That's so
maintain
crazy.
their addiction.
Ugh. And food
Terrible
is an
cycle.
addiction. It can definitely be just as bad. It sure was for me. So, mm.
So we got about 19 minutes left here. We're talking about buying a bunch of bones. What do you plan on doing with all those bones,
Mm.
Em?
Well, I'm going to be making me some bone broth. Yeah, I actually roasted the bones because I was kind of reading that it enhances the flavor, and for my husband to drink it, it's gonna have to be good. So, and I really want him to have that. He has trouble with his knees and stuff like that, and it's definitely better being on keto, carnivore, whatever. But I really feel like that's going to be something really good for him. Plus, my mom, like I said, with her having breast cancer, and she's got some really, really bad issues with her knees and et cetera. I just feel it's something very important for all three of us to be on. So anyway, I roasted the bones and I have them all in my pressure cooker. I'm going to try it there and see what happens. And I'm going to basically use Danielle's recipe, but in a pressure cooker, and we'll see how that goes. We're waiting on some rib bones to get off the grill, and then I'm going to put them in the oven and get the meat off of them, and then I'm going to put those bones in too, and then I'm going to have me some bone broth. And it's only going to take
Awesome.
like 240 minutes or so. So that's pretty cool. So by tomorrow night, we're going to have us some bone broth. I'm pretty excited about it.
You,
There's
you
just
don't
like
have,
so much goodness for bone broth. I was kind of looking it up. And I made some notes because I thought, wow, it's just so incredible what it can do. And, it can protect your joints. It can, help with your skin, which you talk about that in a minute. And like it helps to decrease inflammation. And I mean, there's just your hair, your nails, your skin, all that good stuff, your joints. I mean, and it's supposed to help you sleep, which you can talk about that too in a minute. And even healing your gut. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It has just so much goodness in it. If you use the right bones and you make it properly, it's really good. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you've had a long experience with bone broth. I'm just getting started and haven't actually had it. So,
yeah, I've been drinking 8 to 12 ounces of bone broth before bedtime and without can of butter in it for pretty much 10 months out of the 12 that I've been carnivorous. And it is, in my opinion, bone broth is like nature's true medicine. Um, I had, when I was working at the big grocery store, I got an upper respiratory infection from standing in between two coolers all day, every day for weeks on end and not being allowed to dress properly. Anyway, and I still felt like eating, but the bone broth got me like instant relief.
mm.
It's also very soothing. It's very relaxing. It's very calming, I find.
And that's
Uh,
what you think makes you sleep better?
I'm only speculating. I can't say what about it makes me sleep better. I just know that when I drink some, the hour before I go to bed, I sleep so much sounder, so much deeper than I do without it. And, you're talking
That's
about
pretty
the
cool.
skin differences. Oh, my goodness. My skin continues to improve drastically. And I used to have the dry and crack spots on my heels and ankles and elbows, and
I hear that a lot.
my head was a flaky mess. The top of my head, it was horrible, and all that's gone.
That's crazy.
All
I
that's
can't wait to
gone.
start. I can't wait. I hope it helps me sleep. I'm really excited about that part. I don't really have the joint issues or anything like that, but I do, like I've talked about my rosacea. So I'm hoping that helps it and the sleep. If it does those two things, I'll be happy.
And I'll share this with everybody because I get asked about this all the time. And now that Danielle's on Instagram, I can just give her name. It's Carnivory Art Life, something like that. I type it, it comes up, it works. I don't have to depend on my memory. Anyway, don't mess with me. The bacon can come and get you. Uh, but she's found that because she rotates, she'll make a batch with beef bones, and then when that runs low, then she'll make a batch with chicken bones. So we're always mixing it up. Yeah, somebody's asking specific questions about how to roast the bones and all that. You can answer that because you know all. I don't because Danielle, she put up a recipe and she's got one that she shares. I don't know anything about how she does any of it. I just can vouch for the fact it is extremely soothing. And with the chicken bones, the chicken broth, always make sure you go and get chicken feet to put in it.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of collagen.
Big time.
Yeah.
And I credit that for a lot of my skin health now is all that the chicken broth and I find
Yeah.
it to be a little tastier than beef broth.
That's interesting. Maybe I should have started with that. Oh well.
But I don't find a difference between them health wise.
Okay.
One doesn't treat me better than the other. They both are just equal for me.
I'm curious though, let me ask you this. Like when after you cook it and it's all done, you let it cool, you pour them into containers, right? Little containers and
You'll
some.
have to ask her. I am usually unconscious
Dude,
asleep when
really?
she's doing this.
Okay, well after I know you freeze some of them. What do
Yeah,
you do?
we freeze it all. We freeze it
Do you
all.
just did you put do you put it in the microwave after? I mean, like
Yeah,
what do you
that
do when you drink it?
yeah, I heat it up in the microwave. She heats hers up in the
Okay.
microwave too, and we know the time and for each container and 2 minutes and 50
Okay.
seconds.
Cool.
Voila. It's instant perfect.
I'll have to see. And if I come up with a good recipe too, I'll put it out there as well. I'm into experimenting.
Okay.
I like spices.
Our friend Tex Keto Ginger was asking you at what temp do you roast the bones and for how long?
Oh,
Do you
okay.
remember?
Um, yeah. What I do or what I did, this is the first time I've done it, and I did some research last night. I just lined with foil on a rimmed cookie sheet, and then I put the bones. It depends on what kind of bones you can find. The only bones we were able to find, and believe me, we were lucky to find what we did. They were where both ends. It was cut circular instead of like where you see it like a boat. If it's like you put the marrow side up, but mine had marrow on both sides is what I'm saying. So I just put those standing up on the foil and I put them in the oven at 450 for about 20 minutes. And then I let that cool for quite a while. And then I went ahead and put it in my pressure cooker or my Instapot, should I say. And I'm still waiting to do anything with it, but they're kind of sitting in there chilling for now. But it was pretty quick. And supposedly that's supposed to give it more flavor. And, I don't know if it has anything to do with extra health benefits or anything like that. But, flavor, especially like if my husband's going to drink it, it better taste good. So I figured I'm going to just do the extra step. You don't have to do that, by the way. I don't think Danielle does that, so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't remember that in there.
This is, you understand, my wife, she genuinely loves doing these kinds of things. She doesn't want any help. She doesn't want anybody looking over her shoulder. She doesn't want anything that can interrupt
Yeah,
her flow.
I get it. I get it.
And so, she does a lot of this stuff at night after I've already gone to bed. So I'm woefully inept on her procedures and protocols. And I just Follow me. You'll see her. You'll see me post her name. You know who she is. Her picture's all over my Instagram. You'll figure it out. You're all smart people. I know you.
She's got it down pat. So
yeah, she's got it. She's got it down to a science. I mean, it's the same every time. She doesn't monkey around with it. There's no testing. You know, there's never a bra surprise where you're like,
surprise.
what was that nonsense? It's always very, you know what you're going to get.
Well, if my experiment turns out, I with the pressure or Instapot, should I say, I'll put that out there too because it's really fast. 240 minutes. Hey.
If that works, great. You know, there's always a dozen different ways to skin a cat, and if you're getting what you need out of it, believe me, that's one of those things. Telling somebody how you can only make bone broth this way is like telling somebody how they have to make their steak. You just, are you serious, please? Let's see. We got about 9 minutes left here. I want to talk about Ken Berry again for a minute.
Okay. It's my favorite.
You know, I haven't had the privilege of talking to him. I have had the privilege of talking in a conversation, being interviewed by Sean Baker. But Ken Berry is he's like the guy I most want to sit down and shoot the breeze with out of the whole group.
He's awesome. Let me tell you, he's funny.
Oh, he's a riot. And he doesn't give a nickel about nothing.
No. He just puts it out there and he says it. He does not care. His presentations are
And I think I haven't had the opportunity to read his book yet. I'm looking forward to it. But, hey, our money tree is no longer producing. We're so sorry. Please tune in next time when the money tree maybe produces enough to have all the books we'd like to have on our bookshelf.
Well, I know what you're going to get for Christmas if you don't get it before then.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
I just gave one of those books away in a contest. Yes, and matter of fact, I think she's still here. Yep, Vic Cosmetics.
That's great. Yeah, that's right. Vic Cosmetics did win that book. That's awesome.
Yes, she did. I will be getting that out tomorrow. So
that's fantastic. I will say this. Ken Berry, I think, is going to, in time, be the one who surprises us all because he is so relentless.
Oh, yeah.
And you've been to his book signing.
Yes.
Did that look like some kind of little get-together where just one or two people were just little girlish fans? It looked to me like an army of people showed up for that.
Yes, there was a lot of people.
Ken Berry.
It was their biggest one. Yeah.
He creates enthusiasm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wherever he goes. And I think that's going to be why he's going to, in time, surprise us all. And
his wife, Nisha, the thing is, they work together and they're both passionate about it. So when you have your spouse on board and just as passionate as you are, it's pretty awesome. And they do great things together, you know. Like I went to this one mini conference thing in San Antonio, and Nisha actually presented too. So that was really cool. I was like, wow, they really are. I mean, and Ken did too. But
she's a registered nurse, or is she a nurse practitioner? I can't remember.
No, I think she's a
registered nurse. Okay.
I think so.
Well, you know, registered nurses are pretty sharp cookies. I mean,
yeah.
She's very talented. She's extremely articulate, and I bet she's going to be, based on what I've seen, she's going to be an awesome mom, too.
And have you heard her sing?
No, I haven't heard
She is good. I was like, what? I was like, yo, Ken, you hit the gold mine there.
That's awesome.
She's just as cute as can be.
That's awesome. Yeah, they are good. I'm still trying to figure out, though. I've watched a few of his Facebook Lives, but somehow now I'm like one of these preferred or most frequent supporters.
You're a stalker.
Yeah, I'm a stalker. I don't know how I got that.
I thought I was a stalker. Wow.
You've met him in person. You've had his, you've met him multiple times.
Well, three times, actually. I got my picture taken with you 3 separate times. I might be a fan. I don't know.
He knows who you are on sight.
Yeah. I might be a fan. I don't know.
He just shadow follows me on my social media.
Yeah,
About
he's such a
once
cool
every
guy.
3 days, there'll be a like by Ken Berry in there. And I'm like, okay, he's paying attention. That's nice. We
Oh
appreciate you,
yeah.
Dr.
Oh
Berry.
yeah. Well, I got a happy birthday.
That's right, you did, and you deserved
I
it.
did. It made my day. I'm just gonna say. It's the little things, right? Hey.
Yes, it is. It is. I had a conversation with somebody in the community today I respected, did not stick my foot in my mouth. I was
Well, just share a
finally.
little bit about that because I think that this is hysterical with people who kind of follow you and know you, and you're just the biggest yapper ever, and you just say stuff and you don't care. But yet, this one particular person
Yeah,
makes you
I'm
go
not going to say who
go
this.
word stupid.
There's a person in the community that I have enormous respect for, and I'm not going to say their name. You're not going to get a pronoun or nothing out of me.
If you pay me, I'll tell you.
Nah, you don't have enough money. She's not going to tell you. But this person, every time I tried to interact with him prior to today, I would stick my foot in my mouth, and not just a little bit either, just like an armful. Brett got a
The
shout
whole
out on
leg.
Keto Savage's podcast. I don't know who Keto Savage is off the top of my head, but cool. Awesome. Hi. If I'm the Brent you're talking about, and if I'm not, cool to whoever Brent was. Uh,
Yes, Aunt, you're a stalker.
yeah, we have evidence.
Yes.
Anyway, what was I saying before I got sidetracked?
About your foot in the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a rude person. I go out of my I'm a genuinely happy, nice, but for some reason what I was thinking would not ever be what I typed to them. And I'm a terrible proofreader. And I would hit enter and hit send, and then I would get this response back, and I'm like, that's not the response. Why did oh, I can't believe I sent that. Oh my God. And now I'd spend 15 minutes apologizing for being rude. Well, today, and I mean, I had enormous respect for this person. And today I got to have a pleasant conversation, and I did not stick my foot in my mouth. It was wonderful. I was excited, and I'm very relieved. And I think it's part of the fact I'm still healing. I think that there's still so much wrong with me that we may never know just all the depths of it, what's all been screwed up from all the years of meds and bad diet and mental illness.
Okay, we'll just go with that.
But it's one of those things, we can all improve always. And yes, always thankful, always thankful.
Yes.
We got a couple minutes left. Amber's at the control. She gets to turn the show off tonight.
Ha ha ha.
My dear, what are your any parting
Yeah.
thoughts?
No, I was just making sure we didn't miss anything. Did we miss anything?
Oh, we probably did. Not really. No, nobody asked any questions. We really
Okay.
appreciate everybody hanging out with us. There was some good questions. There was some great interactions. It's why we do these. We appreciate your contributions.
Yes, very much.
This will be up on Amber's story for 24 hours. It'll be up at the Ketovore Kast YouTube channel.
Yeah. Make sure y'all subscribe.
Tomorrow afternoon, no later than tomorrow afternoon. So please come by and subscribe. If and lots of times we get people that can only, thanks, Ann. I look forward to that. I can't wait to hear it. We get people that can't come in and stay for more than just a few minutes. Well, you can see the
Yes,
whole
thank y'all
thing
for
there.
coming, no matter how long. Thank y'all.
And you're running out of time, sweetheart.
Yeah. Okay, we better say bye. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thanks for the great questions and comments. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening.
And always remember, my friends, no matter what, be thankful.
Be thankful. Bye, y'all.